Hello and welcome to Grief Seeds, a podcast where you'll find insights, reframings, metaphors, and visualizations, all known as grief seeds, to help you cultivate growth and healing in your life after loss. My name is Shelby Forsythia. I'm an intuitive grief guide and author, and on this show, I'll share insights from my interactions with clients, wise words from fellow grievers, and personal stories from my own life, with the hope that they transform your grief as they have transformed mine. Because even when it doesn't feel like it, we are planting the seeds of growth in the midst of great pain and heartache. Your grief is welcome here. Hi there, grief growers, and welcome to another episode of Grief Seeds. Thank you so much for joining me here today. Grief is an involuntary scavenger hunt. In life after loss, we are thrust into a life that we would have never chosen for ourselves. Whether our loss is death, divorce, diagnosis, something else, we are forced to live a life that we would have never picked, perhaps one that we never saw coming. This is the involuntary part. And in life after loss, we are relegated to picking up the pieces of the life that we knew before, realizing that some or maybe all of them don't fit, and setting off on a sort of quest, on a sort of lifelong adventure to realize, to assume, and to integrate these new pieces of our lives that actually do apply in life after loss. This visual of grief being an involuntary scavenger hunt has helped me and so many other people return to life after loss because it gives a more playful vision to this relentless searching that we seem to do in life after loss. I remember after my mother died in 2013, I was looking, searching relentlessly, left, right, sideways, for something, anything that felt like a good fit for my heart and for my grief in life after loss. Of course, I didn't have that language then, so it felt a lot like I was spinning in circles, trying on anything that could possibly remotely help me. Wrestling every single day I woke up to determine who I was, what I was doing, what would heal me in life after loss. And it felt like a kind of torture. It felt like a kind of, oh gosh, let's see if we can wrap words around this. It felt like a merciless hunt for a goal or a dream or a future that I didn't know how to bring into existence. And so I tried on all these different healing modalities. Some of them stuck, some of them didn't. I tried chakra balancing and meditating on the tones, the megahertz of the sounds of energy. I tried Reiki and massage and group grief support and phone grief support and online grief support, and I tried reading books, and I tried watching TED Talks, and I tried listening to podcasts, and I tried all of these things. I tried new friends, I tried going back to old friends, I tried this myriad of things to attempt to make sense of grief and to find my way forward in life after loss. And here's the thing, it wasn't fun. I wasn't having a good time, as I reckon many of you who are listening are not right now. It feels like a pursuit of a goal that changes every single day. And so this visualization of the involuntary scavenger hunt, when it arrived to me, was one that gave me the freedom to know that I wasn't on this journey because there was something wrong with me. I didn't keep searching because there was a defect in me, because I was incapable of finding something. And the scavenger hunt part invited in this notion of play, or this notion of freedom, or this notion of there are gonna be clues, there's some sort of magic hidden underneath all of this. And believe it or not, it actually wants to help you or assist you on this journey. I want to share a little bit that I wrote about the involuntary scavenger hunt from my first book, Permission to Grieve. It reads, "Grief is a heartbreaking, soul-crushing, brain-warping experience that not one of us would voluntarily choose to have. We would never sign up to experience the losses we've lived through or the pain that follows. This is the involuntary part. In the days, weeks, months, and years after our losses, we're left to pick up the pieces of our former lives. In doing so, we discover that some or all of the pieces don't fit into what life looks like after our loss, and we're sent on a fumbling, winding journey of uncovering who we are now, what life looks like now, and how we negotiate grief into becoming part of the whole equation. This is the scavenger hunt part." When I first invented this visual, I saw a toddler in a little yellow raincoat bumbling around the woods, picking up rocks and stones and leaves. Some she puts back down, some she shoves into her pocket to keep, and some she holds in her hands for now. Grief renders us into being toddlers again and plops us down into totally alien territory. What else is there to do but examine our surroundings and try to put together this big, impossible puzzle? I mean, sure, we could sit down and cry and wail for how things used to be. I still do quite a lot of that. But eventually, the tears stop, and we need to find concrete tools, ideas, and practices that are helpful to us on our way. This visualization has accompanied me and so many of my clients on our walk back to life after loss, because there's no one way. And our one way, while it might be the quote-unquote right one way for us, is often full of dead ends and loops and turnarounds and all of these things that we try on. The path is not straight. It is not clear. The weather is not nice as we make our way back to life after loss again. It's often this process that feels unending or bumbling or winding as we pick up these little pieces of information, of resources, of helpful or not so helpful alternatives. And it's almost as if we can only decide they belong to us when we actually try them on. And so we have to do that labor, we have to do that work of trying on these experiences, these healing modalities, these things that we reach for in life after loss, to determine whether or not they're actually a good fit. Are they going in our pocket to keep? Are we putting them back down on the ground for someone else to find? Doesn't work for me, might work fine for someone else. Or are we holding them in our hands for now? Is it a twig or a leaf or a stone that we're carrying with us for the time being while we decide whether or not this fits in the grand puzzle of our life after loss? And know that there's no set time when you're supposed to be done with the involuntary scavenger hunt. I feel as if all of life after loss is an involuntary scavenger hunt. The searching may not always happen with the same frenetic energy. It may not occur with the same pace. You may not be looking in the same places or with the same people all the time. The scavenger hunt morphs and changes and evolves and grows as you do over time. But especially after our life has been rocked by loss, we never stop looking for ways to make sense of it. We never stop looking for ways to heal ourselves. And that is so normal and so valid in life after loss. There are always new tools. There are always new words. There are always new ways to return to our hearts, to get in touch with our griefs, to name ourselves, our experiences, the people around us, in our grief. These woods that we are dropped into in life after loss never end. They have no borders, no boundaries. And it is our job, and the job of anyone who has ever grieved, to continue bumbling our way through this forest, determining what works for us. We didn't ask to be here. You didn't choose to be here. You didn't want this life. And while you're here, the thing that is within your power, the thing that is within your control, the thing that you can choose for yourself, is what healing modalities, what rocks, what stones, what twigs, what bugs are helpful. What feels good? What feels like it makes sense? What feels like it adds context? What feels like it helps me rest? What feels like it connects me to others? Those are the shiny objects, the beautiful pieces worth keeping in your pocket in life after loss. I invite you to take a deep breath in with me here. And out. May you, my darling grief grower, call forth this visual of being on an involuntary scavenger hunt in life after loss. Whether you envision yourself as a toddler, a child, an animal, or the version of yourself that you know now, picture yourself plopped down somewhere in the woods, somewhere you've never been, you've never seen, that's unfamiliar to you. Wail, cry, shake your fist at the heavens. Be pissed that you didn't ask to be here. This is part of the involuntary scavenger hunt. Do this daily if you have to, and if you want to. And then with a deep breath, lacing up your shoes, begin each day this involuntary scavenger hunt. This seeking, this looking, this searching, and sometimes this blessed finding of the things that resonate with you in life after loss. It may be a book, it may be a friend, it may be a healing modality or practitioner, it may be a phrase, it may be this podcast, it may be something you have never thought to try before. And all of a sudden, grief brings that into the realm of possibility. Everything is an option for your healing in life after loss. And don't be afraid of screwing up either. There will be rocks you pick up, twigs that you put in your pocket, that you think are a good fit right now, but it turns out tomorrow, next week, a month, maybe even a year down the road, actually that doesn't resonate with me in my life after loss. Thank it for trying. Thank yourself for being willing to look and try it on. And lovingly place whatever it is back down on the ground, release it back to the world for other grieving people to find. And maybe it will help them on their journey as well. As you work your way through this forest, as you continue hunting for what serves you, what calls to you, what speaks to you, what heals you in life after loss, may you know that you are not alone. Everyone who has ever grieved is also on their own involuntary scavenger hunt of sorts. May you meet them, if you would like to, if that would be helpful to you. And may you know that as you find things that are healing for you and your heart and your grief in life after loss, that you have them now, you have brought them into your life because of your own choosing, under your own power and because of your determination to return to life after loss again. I have faith in you. Deep breath in with me here. And out. Thank you so much for joining me on this episode of Grief Seeds. So that's all for this episode of Grief Seeds. Thank you so much for listening today. You can find additional grief support at shelbyforsythia.com or by following me on social media at shelbyforsythia on Facebook and Instagram. If this podcast helped you in your life after loss, please leave a review and subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen. And be sure to share Grief Seeds with a friend, because you never know what someone you love is going through. A huge thank you to my Patreon supporters for financially keeping this podcast on the air. If you'd like to support Grief Seeds on Patreon through a yearly or monthly pledge, you can do so at patreon.com/shelbyforsythia. My Patreon supporters get access to behind-the-scenes content, including a once-a-month grief support call with me and 5 90-minute workshops with topics decided by grievers themselves. Again, that website is patreon.com/shelbyforsythia. Music for Grief Seeds is performed by Addie Goldstein. As always, my dear grief growers, it was beautiful sharing this space and time with you today. I see you. I am so proud of you and the work that you're doing in the world. And I love you. Because even through grief, we are growing.